So welcome to another SAK Saturday, and today I'm in rural Staffordshire in England. It's late autumn, it's a bit overcast, bit damp, not raining, not freezing, but I'm thoroughly enjoying my little camping trip. So today we're going to look at the Victorinox soldier's knife. I'm going to do the review in this woodland just behind me. This is ancient woodland and a lot of prehistory in this area. So the soldier's knife, it comes in this blister pack here, which I've already opened, and I suppose these are designed for display. So this is from their 111mm range of pocket knives. It's classed as their large range. Swiss manufactured. The recommended retail on this is £55. So it's quite a chunk of money for this soldier's knife, but it's quite a chunk of knife as well. I actually paid £42. So the deals are there to be had. Just keep shopping, just keep looking, and eventually you get a deal. It's a 3-layer knife. We've got tools to the front and to the back. It has these green military 2-component grippy scales. Mouthful that, isn't it? But the 2 components are the green that you can see, which is relatively smooth, and then the black parts, which are the rubberized grippy parts. So slightly raised and rubberized and very grippy. So once you've got that in your hand, both in the palm and thumb, you've got really good purchase with this knife. The Victorinox symbol is embossed into the scale and doesn't stand out like it does with other knives. It has no scale tools, so it has no toothpick, no tweezers. The size in length is the 111mm referred to. It is 18mm in height, and at its widest point it is 35mm wide. It weighs 131 grams. So again, it's much heavier than some of the smaller Swiss Army knives that we have looked at, but it's a much, obviously, more serious tool to use. So there's no options on this soldier's knife on colours. It just comes in this one colour. However, you can get another similar version to this with this grippy scale called the Forester. I'll put some details up in the corner here just so that you can see the option. But it has a different set of, slightly different set of tools. So this knife has 10 functions. And the very first function that is classed as a function is the keyring. And then we have to look at the back of the knife, and we can find a Phillips screwdriver. Now, I think the majority of Victorinox knives have corkscrews, and this is the first one that I've got with a Phillips screwdriver. It looks decent quality. Obviously, by gripping it like that, you can get some good purchase. However, if your screw is at a depth where you need a bit of length, it's not going to work. And as a motorcyclist, I carry a Phillips screwdriver in the toolkit of the motorcycle. So I've always got Phillips screwdrivers. We also have a reamer punch, which has a sharp edge on that side. And just to demonstrate, I'm not going to do it into the Woodland, but into this little bit of kindling, if we just it's like an old-fashioned drill where you used to have to turn it. I remember my grandfather having drills that were manual, not electric, obviously, at that time. So you can clearly see where the hole is. This kindling's starting to split, but you could take that virtually all the way through by doing the hole to about halfway and then start on the other side, and then you'd have a hole through the wood. It's quite good for putting holes through leather, and good for putting it through canvas, things like that. I've used it on my motorcycle jacket, where the jacket's getting a little bit aged now and the Velcro had sort of stopped working. So I punched a hole through with the reamer, not this one, but on another knife, and then put some press studs in. So it's got multiple uses, that, and I actually, when you need one, you need one. So coming around to the front and starting with the first layer, which is the opening layer, we've got the traditional can opener, albeit a little bit heavier duty than some of the other Swiss Army knives, the smaller ones. And there's plenty of videos there showing how this works, but effectively this is your can opener. And it has a 3mm flat-headed screwdriver on the end. Also within that opening layer, you have the flat-headed 7mm screwdriver. That's a substantially decent screwdriver. It's in the half lock position, and then it goes to full lock like that. And that actually is a pretty good, impressive tool. You can still see the oil that these come with. Victorinox are an excellent company. Everything is oiled, and to maintain these knives you can buy the oil from them, or you can get other oils, but you don't need to put much oil on when you do maintain them. So also on this we have a wire stripper, and again I've used this, not on this knife, but I've used the wire strippers on the smaller ones to do jobs on the motorcycle. And then you finally have your bottle opener. You have a little line lock in there, which is this, and you just have to push that to one side to then bring your screwdriver to the half stop to final. So that's to maintain that locked in position while you're using it. So looking at the middle layer, that's the next layer, we have a large blade. So this is a typical Victorinox stainless steel blade. That's obviously your thumb opener. It has a partial serrated blade, and that serrated part is 53mm. The overall length of the blade is 80mm tang to tip. If you can see, it's got Victorinox, let's see, I don't know whether you can see that, Victorinox Swiss made, and the number 22 stamped into the tang. It's a single-handed opener, and that's what that thumb hole's for. So you can deploy this knife with single-handed by just moving it around like that. It has a locking blade, and you can see the line lock there. And to release the lock, you just push the line lock and then close the blade. And it even says press where you need to press. So with that line lock and the fact that the blade is larger than 3 inches, this knife is not a legal carry in the UK without having a good reason to do so. Now, there's lots of speculation, there's lots of comments, and I'm sure everybody on here will have a view as well. But you do need to look at the legislation yourself and be comfortable if you do buy a knife like this or a fixed blade knife, that you have a good reason to carry it. And I say that that good reason is camping. But I'm sure there'll be plenty of comments about that and about the use of this knife. However, not legal to carry in the UK without a good reason. So you have to have a good reason to carry this knife. Finally, moving on to the third layer, which is the one at the back, we've got a very useful bit of kit here. And it's a really aggressive 90mm wood saw. These are very, very useful, these. So I've got a little bit of fallen timber here, and once I've finished with it, it'll be going back onto the ground again to decompose. And I'm just going to show you how this works with this saw. Very easy. So that's a really useful bit of kit when you're camping, particularly if you do wild camping. Having a little saw which you can do the small tasks is brilliant. Now, when that closes, you'll see on this end here, the blade doesn't come to the very end because that end closes down onto that piece of metal there, and it means that the actual teeth of the blade are not pressing down on anything and don't collide with anything. Very, very nice design. The handle, I've mentioned about the grippy parts, but this handle is really grippy. It is, without a shadow of a doubt, it is really, really good to hold that. And it's shaped, you can see the shape of it, it's just shaped to perfection for your hand. So these have a lifetime warranty against manufacturer defects. Truly excellent quality. And if it's good enough for the Swiss military, it's good enough for you and I. So what's my plan for this soldier's knife? Well, clearly I do a lot of camping, and I camp on campsites, I wild camp, I travel, and I really see this as a knife that there will be no modifications. So what you see is how it will remain. I'll use it for camping, particularly if I'm going wild camping, or certainly any wild camping trips. I would definitely carry this soldier's knife. And I'll just be very cautious to only carry the knife in conjunction with the legislation. So that means I would have to make sure when I was carrying this particular model that I had a good reason to do so. The government links for knife law, knife legislation, will be in the information section. You should not take anything that I say as advice. You need to look up the law yourself. but I would feel carrying that with certain camping trips as appropriate. So that's your Victorinox Soldier's Swiss Army knife. Nice bit of kit this. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you on another SAK Saturday.